Hello, welcome to the Echo Tips podcast. In this week's episode, we're going to be talking about buggy Amazon Echoes. That's right. You ever had your Echo lock up, freeze up, start responding in a weird way, not responding at all, getting some goofy images on the screen if it's an Echo show? We're going to be talking about rebooting your Amazon Echo. And we'll be introducing a new segment to the podcast, which I'm going to call Amazon Why Not? But before we get into that in any sort of detail, we're going to go to a brief message about this podcast, and then I will be right back. This episode is brought to you by New Vision at Goodwill Industries of the Valleys, and also made possible in part by a grant from the Virginia Board for the Blind and Vision Impaired. New Vision is a program of Goodwill that provides information services and assistive technology training to individuals with visual impairments. Goodwill Industries of the Valleys is a nonprofit organization serving Central, Southwest, and Southside Virginia. Goodwill's mission is to empower individuals, strengthen families, and inspire communities. These shows are provided for educational purposes. This podcast may not be retransmitted, sold, or reproduced without written permission from New Vision. Well, hello again and welcome back to the podcast. As I mentioned earlier, we're going to be talking about rebooting your Amazon Echo in this week's episode and introducing a new segment which I'm calling Amazon Why Not? In other words, why not have this feature? Why not have this? To maybe reach out and kind of advocate for new features and the like. First off, though, I'd like to welcome our new listeners to the podcast. Welcome to the Echo Tips podcast. My name is David Ward. I'm an assistive technology instructor with the New Vision program at Goodwill, and it's good to have you with us today. You'll find our podcast are little nuggetized episodes dealing with the Echo. We try to keep it 5 to 15 minutes long. I sometimes go a little longer, but I try to keep it concise. And for our returning listeners, you'll find that we're glad to have you back as well. And because of both of you, we're about to surpass 100,000 listens to the podcast. Okay, well, let's delve right into our subject material. So, have you ever encountered your Echo being buggy? Have you encountered problems, it not be responding, especially the ones with screens and cameras, such as the Echo Show line of devices? Now, according to Amazon, there is a typical procedure for that. If you have an Echo Show with a screen and a camera, you can actually hold down the mute button that doubles as a power off button. When you hold that down, you'll get a prompt on screen to power it down. Now, unfortunately, on the ones that don't have a screen, a traditional Echo, like the hockey pucks, the Pringle cans, or the little like snow globe ones, you really don't have a real functional way to shut it off. Technically, the documentation says that if you hold down the action button with a bump on it, that will kind of restart it and put it in setup mode. But then you're in setup mode and you got to just reconnect it all again. And that's kind of a goofball solution, I think. So under most circumstances on the website, it mentions as far as a hard reset, you just pretty much pull the power plug. Well, I feel like that's like prehistoric technology. What are we doing here? I gotta go like unplug the thing? Yeah, but undoubtedly, I find myself doing that every week, if not several times a week, because I'm using an Amazon Echo Show line. I have the 10 here in the classroom with motion, and I really find that the bugginess is usually not that big of a problem, except when I start to do heavy tasks. So if I have it playing video, if I do a video conference, like a Zoom, or using the Amazon call feature where it's doing a video thing, I find that traditionally that's when it starts to fall down. The bugginess starts to creep in rather quickly at that point, and it's almost better than not just to restart it after I've been doing those kind of sessions. So honestly, I got kind of tired here in the classroom of having to go and yank the plug out, or doing it in frustration, or I'm doing other things at the same time and track that cord down back to the power strip. You probably can relate, right? You can probably relate. And so that's why I did this. So let's see what you think of this. If you have an Echo in hearing distance of me before I demonstrate this, please shut off its ears. That way I'm not triggering your Echo at home. Give you a second to do that. All right. And here's what I did. Alexa, reboot. Boom. Yeah. All right, so there was some explodey woody music. You might have heard a click in the background, and now the Echo is off. Now, at this point, 15 seconds are going to go back on. You're going to hear maybe a click again, and that is the Echo coming back on. So what have I done here while it's rebooting? What I did is I have paired it with an Amazon smart plug. I know, it may seem complicated, but I do this enough that it mattered to me. I got an Amazon smart plug, got it on sale for like all of $10 or $15. I think right now they're running it at their typical retail value of like $25. The smart plug plugs into the wall outlet and connects over Wi-Fi, and I can connect it to my account. And then I can connect it to routines that do specific things. Now, my Echo should be coming up here soon, and when it's back up and running, you're going to hear a trumpet sound. All right? So how does my routine work? Well, let me describe it. So I trigger it with the phrase reboot. Then it in turn flips the switch. It plays the jingle first, the like explodey-wody sound, and then it triggers the switch to go off. That kills the power to the Echo because I have it plugged into the smart plug. Now, at that point, you might think, oh, well, doesn't the Echo continue to run the routine? If it's not on, it can't run the routine to trigger the plug. Actually, the plug connects to the Wi-Fi and up to the cloud, the smart cloud, and the routine will continue to run through the server connected to the plug, even though the Echo is currently off now. Okay, so it will continue to do its stuff. Oh, there we go. There we go. All right, it's up and running again. All right. So, what did we find then? So the plug goes off. It waits 15 seconds. I put a wait in the routine, and then it flips the plug back on. And then I have another wait routine. I don't know if I really need this one. I was having some trouble at one point, but it might have been my haphazardness. I put like a 1 minute timer. Again, it just waits. Well, and that's basically letting the Echo fully boot up, right? And then I have it play the trumpet jingle, which is kind of a notifier to me that the Echo is back up and running again. So I'm encountering bugginess. I'm doing things with students. I'm doing other things. I don't get time. I just say reboot. It does its reboot. And when I hear the trumpet again, I know it's back up and running and on its feet. So you may find that useful. It may be worth the $25 or get one on sale, a smart plug, and do that very thing. Okay, so you might find that super handy. And when we think about the Echoes, the more that they're part of our home automation environment, controlling our thermostats perhaps at home. My new apartment is going to have a microwave, a washer, a dryer, all controlled by Echoes, by the A-Lady. And so you may find at times, and gosh knows where you put the thing, the wire could be dangled all the way behind your entertainment center. How are you going to get to, this may be a reasonable solution. Now, I know Amazon had good intentions. This is supposed to be an appliance. It's supposed to always be on. It's supposed to blah, blah, blah. It's never supposed to have bugs, blah, 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 and run, and auto reboot and auto update. No, that's all nice. That's all very nice. But this is the real world. Developers, I love you, right? But it's going to have bugs, right? And I'm going to need to reboot it. So, this is my way of kludging together a solution. And that leads us into what I'm calling our new segment. And here is our new segment. It's called Amazon Why Not? So in our Amazon Why Not segment is Amazon, why not have a reboot feature? Build it in. If you're concerned about security or the like, have it ask for my PIN code. But please, put it in there. It seems like something we might actually need to have. And even if you don't want to put it right in there as a verbal command, at least make it a routine command, right? So that I can set my Echo to reboot every night at 12 in the morning or something, 12 a.m. it seems to me to be very useful. The competing product, the Google Assistant, does have a reboot command, although it cannot be invoked verbally, unfortunately. It has to be invoked inside the app. Now, there might be a way to make a routine that does it. I should delve back into that, or an action. But the reality is I think a lot of these devices, especially as they become part of our homes more, and I'm trying to be hands-free, I'm trying to do things in the house. Here I have students, but you can imagine a family with kids and stuff running around. I just need it to work again here, and I'm willing to take a minute to let it reboot. Just don't make me have to climb behind the armoire or whatever to find the plug or something. Please. So that's our new segment. Amazon, why not? Have it reboot. Okay, so that is just basically bringing this to a close. Kind of a neat little feature and way of making this work, and something that I implemented here in the classroom. If you have additional suggestions for our new segment about Amazon, why not? Or you just want to learn something new, or the like, or just share that you had a question or a thought or a comment, then by all means reach out to us on Facebook at Goodwill Industries of the Valleys, or on Twitter at Goodwill Industries of the Valleys, or you can even email us at info@goodwillvalleys.com. But we certainly thank you for your listenership. If you'd like to find out more about what I'm doing, you can check out our website at goodwillvalleys.com/newvision, all lowercase and no spaces. But for this episode, I'm David Ward, an assistive technology instructor with the New Vision program, and we do thank you for listening.
Thanks, Dave. Let me tell you a bit more. Let me put on my official sounding voice. Ahem. This episode is brought to you by New Vision at Goodwill Industries of the Valleys, and also made possible in part by a grant from the Virginia Board for the Blind and Vision Impaired. New Vision is a program of Goodwill that provides information services and assistive technology training to individuals with visual impairments. Goodwill Industries of the Valleys is a nonprofit organization serving Central, Southwest, and Southside Virginia. Goodwill's mission is to empower individuals, strengthen families, and inspire communities. These shows are provided for educational purposes. This podcast may not be retransmitted, sold, or reproduced without written permission from New Vision. Phew! Thanks for listening.